Well, we are back, but not under the Helios Podcast Network. I am back under the Unbreakable banner. Hey, Josie, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm great. So, listeners, we're delighted to have you joining us today for our very first podcast. This is the first one that we're doing under the Unbreakable banner, and really excited about it. And so today I'm joined by my creative director of Unbreakable, Josie Cable. So here we go.
All right.
I think, one of the things that I think is an interesting concept here is just trying to launch something like this, right? We did that series where we talked about the first rejection letter that I received and how like harsh it was. And even just like trying to get something like this off the ground, the amount of effort, like you and I both had really busy weeks last week and we were not able to be on the socials as much. We weren't able to, drum stuff up as much. We still met our content goals, but it's like, it's a
You
lot of
missed two
work, man.
days and it takes a really big deep dive quick.
Like that's insane. It's insane. And I don't think that I ever really realized how hard it was to live in a social media world.
Everything's online
Everything. And
and we're all
and
attached to those bricks in our hands. So,
oh, I call them talk boxes. And
ah,
let me tell you the story behind that. So I went to a job site once and it was on the Florida Georgia line. And it was an interesting path to get there because on the way we flew into JFK, which I usually avoid like the plague because it's a terrible airport to fly in and out of. They get
I've
weather,
heard.
like it's awful. I don't go to New York at all if I can. And so we were landing and you're kind of close to the ground and so you flip your data back on and all of a sudden I see that all of our next flights are canceled. And I was like, "What?" And we have to be in Florida the next morning for like site walk downs and all these different things.
Mhm.
And I was like, "Okay, this is not good." And so we get off the plane and I'm traveling with a really seasoned other like consultant as well. And so he's very innovative and he's just like the two of us together were very dynamic. And so we get off and we start walking toward like the Delta Airlines queue. And there is this throng of people. Like it's just packed. Like there's got to be 200 people because all of their flights had just been canceled. And we
Of
can't figure
course.
out why. Like the weather wasn't bad. So we look over and there's like a phone bank and there's nobody there and they're direct lines into Delta. So we're like, okay. So we go over and we're negotiating. He gets on the phone and he starts restructuring our flights, and I start figuring out our vehicle because I'd booked the vehicle. And we've decided we're going to fly instead of flying into Jacksonville, we're going to fly into Tampa, and we're going to drive from Tampa over to this little tiny town on the Florida Georgia line. And so we figure this out. We're feeling pretty proud of ourselves. We go down, we're in the basement of JFK because we're taking kind of regional flights. And my hair is massive. I've got my little suitcase with me because this hair, I mean, let's be honest, it's like, it's huge, right? And so the humidity is there. And
Hmm.
we sit there, we go for dinner. And then all of a sudden we're starting to get delay notices. So we're getting delay notice after delay notice after delay notice, and we're like, oh man. So we finish our sandwich or whatever we're having for supper, and we go and we sit by the gate. And all of a sudden, I see this Delta representative in a red vest coming down the hallway with a trolley loaded full of boxes. And I'm like, what's going on? And I look over and I go over and actually look in it. And they had these giant boxes, and those snack boxes that you get on planes?
Hmm.
It
They were
was
just giving them
those.
out.
They were giving them out, except for they were branded with, "Please accept our apologies." And I was like,
Oh,
I'm not eating your apologies," is what I said to the guy. "I'm not eating your apology. I need you to just get me on a plane and get me to Florida," right? By this time, I'd been sitting in the airport probably 5 hours.
yeah.
So
Way
we're
too
sitting
long.
there, we're waiting, and then all of a sudden the flight cancels because the crew times out. And there's nothing you can do about that. Like I'm not getting on an unsafe flight, right?
Well, no.
And so we're like, okay, so we follow this group of very angry people back toward the Delta queue, and we're like, we're not even going to bother trying. So we leave the secure area thinking that we can just get our hotels done. We're in New York. We should be able to find a hotel. There was one hotel available in Manhattan, 40 minutes away, under no circumstances am I sharing a hotel room with a male consulting. I wouldn't even share it with a female consulting partner. I was
Well,
like,
no.
that's personal
Hotels.
space.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Like when I brush my teeth, I don't need somebody, standing out the door waiting to, brush their
Brush
teeth.
their
Like,
teeth. Yeah.
yeah, that's weird. There's boundaries with work.
Mm-hmm.
So we turn around and we go back through the secure area because we're like, where's the most secure place that you're going to be in New York City if you've got to sleep on a bench? It's going to be in JFK behind the secure area.
Yeah.
So we go back in and I put my suitcase underneath my legs and I put my briefcase underneath my neck and I take my suit jacket and I slap it across my eyes. And the guy that I'm traveling with doesn't sleep. He just sits up all night on guard. So the next morning I get up and I flip my suitcase open and I'm in the bathroom and I'm like straightening my hair and cleaning myself up. And these people are coming in and they're like, what's going on? I'm like, I'm not going to look like hell. This is a brand,
Yeah.
right? Like, so we get on this plane, but the only plane we could get on was to Georgia. So we had to fly to Georgia and then drive down to the work site by, I think it was like 2.5 hours.
Gosh.
So this is like a totally unsafe situation. Like we probably shouldn't have been on the work site. Like when I look back at it now from a health and safety perspective. So we get there, we get all of our security stuff done. I have my first coaching session with this guy, who's like been a long time client of mine since 2017 now. And so, oh yeah. And so we end up going the next day for a walk down of this acid plant. And I have not brought any PPE with me, right? They gave me a pair of steel-toed loafers. They were
Oh,
the
the
ugliest shoes I have ever seen in my life, and they were like clown shoes. They were so big, and they did not go with my outfit. I was wearing floral pants. It was very nice.
mm,
Then they give me a hard hat, a set of hearing protection, and like eye protection. That was
and that
it.
protects you from acid.
Yes.
Ah,
Uh,
okay.
That shit was growing out of my hair for years. I don't know what it
Mm-hmm.
was. It was insane. And so this like engineer, this process engineer is like with us walking down, and this organization was about to go through like a really big acquisition or like a merger. And so this is why I was brought in, was to help work with the field level leaders who were kind of like the single points of failure. If we didn't bring them along
Right.
the journey of the change, they knew everything and there would be
Mm-hmm.
massive gaps in the operation if we didn't manage that. So we finished this walk down and this guy goes, he goes, can I get your business card? Of course you can have my business card. I'm always looking for, the next sale or the next opportunity, right? And so if I can go deeper into this organization, yeah, if I can support you, of course. So I give him my card and he's like, maybe I can come to your hotel and we can have a coffee. Yeah, no, we're not doing that.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to have a conversation, you can come to the corporate office.
Yeah.
We can chat there. And so we get into this corporate office the next day and I'm like, oh yeah, so this engineer's coming, and all the office staff are like, why is he coming here? And I was like, oh, I don't like that reaction.
Mm,
Very uncomfortable.
yeah.
And so he shows up and I'm like, okay, so we're gonna just go into this office and everybody sees I'm going into this office with this man who's kind of different. And he leans across and he looks at me and he goes, I prayed for you on Sunday at church. And I said, I beg your
Mm,
pardon? Oh, you didn't know me on Sunday when you went to church. Oh no, I prayed for you. Would you like to elaborate on how you prayed for me? And he goes, I prayed to the Lord to have someone who would listen to me, who would take me seriously, who would be kind to me. And I was like, oh, okay. So this is a misunderstanding. Like I'm literally paid to do this. And
mm-hmm.
if like you and I would see each other in the grocery store, I might say hi or give you, what we in Canada do, the up nod, not the down
Yeah.
nod, the
Yeah,
up
no,
nod.
no.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know you, but I'm going to acknowledge you.
Yeah. Hey, buddy. Yeah.
No, and from that point forward, because he had my business card, he then had my phone number. And so he
Mm,
would he would send me pictures and text messages and he would phone me and I would never answer because I was like, this is not
no.
professional. This is not okay. And So I continue working with this company for a lot of years, but he would leave these phone messages. And one time he phoned and I would save them. And, I would not, voicemail for me, like anybody watching this or listening to this, don't ever send me a voicemail. Don't
Oh,
leave me a voicemail. You'll never hear from me
they go
again.
there to die. Yeah.
Hmm.
It's
It's a great
usually
way
a
to never
swipe
get,
or they just sit there for long enough that they delete themselves and
yes.
good to go.
Unless I can see it from voice to text of who it is, I'm like,
Yeah, then I'm not answering it.
yeah, it's not a thing for us in our generation. And
No.
so this one time I get this voicemail and I'm in with my associate. She's driving in. We're commuting into a client office. And I'm like, oh, I have a voicemail. And I'm like, I dial it up. And so it's going through my Bluetooth in the car. And it's this guy. And he's like, hey, Kate, I'm just
Oh,
driving and I was thinking about you. And, hey, Kate, can you hear me? Can you hear me? And then all I hear
what's that?
is this talk box on? He said.
Oh my.
And I was like, what? My associate is dying in the passenger seat. I have never referred to this as anything other than a talk box since.
I might not after today either.
Yeah. So these are the risks of being a kind person in the field, but you learn new things and you get to meet really great and interesting
Interesting.
people. Yeah.
Yeah, they're fun.
Yeah. Yeah. So interesting. This is not a story that appears in Unbreakable. But
It
these
should
are the
be.
types it should be, right? How to dodge people. Tips and tools. But I think, I'm really excited about this podcast and, I'm a storyteller. I think anybody who's ever met me, if you've ever listened to my previous podcast from the Helios Podcast Network, like I love telling stories and that's how I really teach people. And through my storytelling, this is where Unbreakable was born because people used to say to me coming out of workshops, you really should write a book. Right. And so I did. And what's really interesting, Josie, is as I sat and I started writing this for this particular prep project, it started as one thing and it morphed into something completely different.
And I think that's what it keeps doing. The whole movement behind Unbreakable isn't just your book anymore.
Mm.
It's every
No.
post that we have up, it's every story that you tell. There's something you carry from the book into that, but you're just constantly building it. So that's the exciting part for me,
Yeah.
anyways.
Yeah. Well, and I think, what's really unique as well is just about how we came about partnering on this is, I think we both come from, and I didn't know this about you, and I don't know that you knew what I'm all about.
No,
It is freaking crazy how similar our life paths have been to get to this point in our lives.
very. I'm reading from what I can see from the book already. It was like feels like she's writing about me, or every story that we go through before we, plan the posts and stuff. I'm like, hey, yeah, I also had that stint in life, or I had that person, or had that job that,
Mhm.
and all it was I was scrolling through Facebook one day and was like, hey, Kate's writing a book. She probably needs some social media help. My gut's telling me I need to do this, though. So when I messaged you, I had no idea that this is what it was.
Yeah.
Not no regrets at all, but the way our lives have aligned and the similarities are kind of too funny in a way.
Yeah. Well, and I think that the other thing is that it's morphed from even just social media. Like, I mean, when you put the scope of work in front of me, it was like a website, some social media, some SEO optimization, and you were like, cool, we're going to get this all done. And then before we knew it, it was just like it became this interwoven um,
Hmm.
partnership where you're pushing me pretty hard out of my comfort zone. I think the one day when we started recording video content, and you were like, didn't we just post a first thread last week where you said do something that makes you uncomfortable? And I was like, yeah, you can go
Yeah,
buzz
I'll see
off.
myself out.
It's awesome. And people are asking for an update on where things are. Everywhere I go, people are asking me about the book.
Hmm.
People I don't even know who've kind of come through it and have learned about Unbreakable through other people. I see people at the gym. I see people in the community. I was in Manitoba, which is 2 provinces away, and people were like, "So when is your book coming out?" And so at this point, I think it's a value add for us to maybe
Hmm.
do a bit of an update on where we are. And I think even just in terms of like some of our engagement and what we're doing. So on June 1st, we submitted Unbreakable to two different publishing houses. And on June 2nd, we submitted to a third. June 3rd, or pardon me, June 2nd, we received a very
Hmm.
intense rejection letter from
Good
one of
word
the
for it.
publishing houses. Yeah, yeah. It was it was condescending is how I would put it. It was
Hmm.
and I think I did a reaction video to that for our TikTok. And one of the things, I mean, obviously I'm not doing anything that would shoot me in the foot or stop our movement in the water, but it was really just saying like you didn't need to say these things. You could have put it in a different way. And so my point there was he might be decades deep in the publishing industry, but he failed to remember that I'm decades deep in the change, leadership, and mental well-being industry.
Hmm.
And so he was treating me like I was a complete moron. And I was just like, but you fail to remember that I'm an executive in my own right. Like you don't have to tell me that, most books only sell 3 to 500 copies in their lifetime.
Yeah, it's
It's good.
completely irrelevant.
You know what, bud? It's great that you don't know who I am, but you will know who I am.
Hmm.
And I believe in myself. We have a wait list that already has over 150 people waiting to be notified for this
And
book
it grows every day.
every
So,
day. hmm So I look at that. But the other two are really fantastic. They're great opportunities. They're between 3 and 6 months waiting. And so what we're doing with this brand right now and this movement, it's not even just a brand anymore. Like it's becoming something really, really
hmm,
powerful. And what we're doing with this is we're building the critical mass and we're building the appetite for it, but we're also building the community. And so while we're waiting, we're looking to engage with people. We're looking to have things like our podcast launch. We have a really great website. We're going to have a ton of free all access stuff, as I've referred to it. And then, of course, we're going to have a subscription model. And so when this book comes out, and it will come out very soon, uh, within the next, I would say, 6 to 8 months, we're
agreed.
going we're going to be able to really weave that into all of the things that we've laid down. And maybe it feels a little backwards, but I think what we're able to do is we're able to build the principles and the way to implement these tools and tips. When you get a copy of this book, it
You
is
know what
just
to
going
do
to
already.
exactly. It's relatable. You'll understand it, right? So a little bit of an update there for our listeners as well as some of our followers. I mean, we've got some really great follow action happening. Hey,
Yeah, it grows and grows. I have numbers set that we're one away from right now. So today is the day. It's fine.
today's the day. Today's the day. And our engagement, it's really interesting. Our demographic has shifted from even what I anticipated in terms of when I submitted the book. And it's really interesting. We're seeing our Gen Z and millennial men who are really
Hmm.
looking for this support and for this input and the opportunity to engage.
There's
And
not a whole lot of guidance, at least in my age group. I'm
no,
I make an effort every day, obviously, to learn something, listen to a podcast, listen to a video, whatever. That's not everyone's cup of tea, but
yeah,
working with other people in different industries as a creative, I see that there is no guidance anymore. We're not the boomers coming in that had that knowledge passed down for 20, 30 years onto the next one. So these little snippets of videos that we put out and even right down to the quotes, it's that generation that's really hopping on top of that.
yeah. I agree. And the other demographic that we're starting to see millennial women
Hmm.
emerging really significantly over the past 2 weeks. But our Gen X sisters, those women are really grappling.
Yes.
And, life is changing for a lot of the Gen X women. Their kids are moving on with life. Some of them are having kids, some of them are just going to university.
Hmm.
Um, their jobs are changing. I often joke, men they have midlife crises. What's the word? I don't know.
Crises? I think it's crises.
Yeah.
Who
Well,
knows? We're Canadian. We can make up our words.
This is true. There's no do to boot it.
Right.
And so what's happening, like I always joke that men have they go out and they buy the red sports car. I think, a lot of people joke about that, but for me, I look at it and it's like you can always tell when like a Gen X woman, or it's not even Gen X, but like women who are kind of in a phase of life where life is changing on them, a lot of the time they run out and they get those Kate plus 8 hedgehog haircuts, and it's just like, oof,
Oh yeah.
she's having a tough week. She cut all her
Yeah.
hair off. Yeah.
She's almost going through Britney right now.
Yeah, the angle, right? It's
Yeah.
like, and I'm really trying hard not to be in that space, right? Ever. Like I joke about it all the time. Maybe I should just cut my hair. And my wife is always like, no, do not do that. Do not cut
Mm-mm.
your hair, right?
Don't touch
Um,
it.
yeah, yeah. Like, yeah. So it's interesting to see the demographics kind of moving and growing. And we're just really excited to be putting some additional content out through the podcast. And so, um, some things that folks can expect in the coming weeks. Josie, we've got a lot of things in the hopper.
Hmm. Yeah, it's exciting. We
Yeah.
definitely have the all access up soon. So, there's going to be some graphics and stuff like that that you can take, use, do what you need. You can talk about your little snippets. I know the change curve is in there. Um, I don't have it up in front of me. Can't
It's
remember
okay.
the other two, but that's your
Yeah.
domain. I just make it look pretty.
I'm the brains. She just called me a
Yep.
nerd. I get it. Yeah, that's it. But I think, really what it comes down to is we want to put the tools in people's hands to be able to execute. Now, the problem though, it becomes actually doing the execution, right? The talk box
Mhm.
is a very powerful tool and drug that we rely on. Everything else becomes easier when we start to kind of procrastinate a little bit here and there. And so one of the things is you got to do the work. And what's really cool about Unbreakable, there's a whole section called This is the Work. And it's not just a bunch of journaling. Like we've got things in there that are drawing activities, actual tactical activities, and in
Very
addition,
actionable items to do.
very, very.
Yeah.
And in addition to that, the other thing is that from section 2 to 5, at the end of every chapter, we have our first threads. And our first threads, we promote those every Friday, but the first threads are actually related to the information that you read in the chapter. And each chapter is a story with a lesson inside of it. And
Mhm.
so it's not just like, this is not a business book. It's not a self-help book. This is really a blueprint, and it's driven out of my life experience and all the things that I've done and all the mistakes that I've made, or not all of them, but some pretty
Yeah.
significant, experiences that I've had in life. So I'm really, really excited for the publishing to come through. I believe in myself. I believe in myself unapologetically and delusionally. I delusionally believe in myself to the point where um, this is something. We're onto
Your
something.
delusion, though, melts off. And even me and my partner alone from working on that, she doesn't work on it, but we just absorb all that delusion into us. And it, even in the last month from starting on Unbreakable to now, our career lives, our personal lives, we even take into consideration every week, like what comes out on the first threads. We pick
Mm,
something from there, we make it actionable. So your delusion just kind of goes off on all your little followers
I love
or your
that.
creative directors.
Yeah. Well, and I just love that because that's really the intent, right? Like when you find your purpose in life, it's
It's
easy.
eye-opening. So
It really is. And so, at the end of the day, this will be what it will be. And I'm absolutely delighted to be walking down this path and really looking forward to sharing it with all of our listeners. I'm stoked that we're going to get this first podcast up and out. We're going to be able to use some of this content. I did not ever think that I would be a content creator. Um,
or someone in front of a camera, that was a
it,
hard one to push you for.
oh, that was really hard. I even went out and bought one of those stupid little microphones to run around with. And
Oh, but the videos are so much better now.
mhm. They are. They are. So in the coming weeks, dear listeners, you can expect a couple of things. You can expect to see more updates. You can expect to continue to see great content. And in addition to that, you can expect to see My AirPods just died. I don't know if that is making a difference. I can still hear
No,
you on
you're
the one
still
ear,
good.
so it's good. I don't understand why this didn't charge. Emotional regulation, people. Emotional regulation.
101 right there.
Yeah, as my friend Jordan does. She's gonna
Pulls
watch
it
this and
back
be like,
in.
"Yeah, yeah, just done." But we've got a lot of different things coming out. We've got a couple of new releases in terms of the website. We're going to have that all access go live first. We're going to have merch. So stay tuned for that. Check this out. We've already got some hoodies printed. We're working on different activities there. We're gonna do some lives. We're going to start really just branching out and making me super uncomfortable. So
Oh,
it's,
yeah.
I mean, you are your brand, right?
That's my favorite part of the job, I think, is making you uncomfortable.
Yeah.
One thing you did forget to mention is I know a lot of people are asking what's in the book.
Mm.
We talked about how we, meaning you, are going to talk about kind of what each chapter is kind of about, giving a little snippet. So I think people can expect to at least get to know what's in the book more so,
Yeah. We we do have some. Oh man, did my other AirPod just die? Oh,
Can
I
you
can
still
still hear
hear
you.
me? Oh.
I can still hear you. This is like it feels like a Monday, and it's actually a Friday. WTF,
Hmm.
guys? But yeah, so we will talk. I think we're gonna do some releases on what's in the book and the top 10 takeaways from
Hmm.
Unbreakable. So we've started to build the movement around motivation and self motivation, those types of things, growing yourself as a person, and oh my Lanta, this is terrible. And then being able to apply it to your life immediately. And
Hmm.
oh man, yeah, that's it. The AirPods are dead.
Oh, we can at least still hear you pretty good.
This is good. This is good. Um, so we're going to really take this and turn it into something that is actionable, that you can drive, that you can implement into your day-to-day life. We will talk about the different sections of the book, what they look like, what they feel like, um, and how they apply to your life, and how you can be unbreakable.
Yeah, it's exciting times coming up.
It is. It's really exciting. So, I think we hit the pause button here and we say, okay, episode 1 is in the books. Thank goodness. The introduction to the
Welcome
team
to
is
the
done.
Unbreakable Podcast.
Welcome to the Unbreakable Podcast. We're here and we are always looking for questions. So when you interact with this, whether it is on the socials or on YouTube, drop the questions. Let us know what you want to know. And, the other thing too is we do an AMA, and Ask Me Anything, every Thursday. You can
Hmm.
drop an AMA question for the podcast if you'd like. We'll give you a shout out wherever you are in the world. We do have a global audience. Our audience is massive around the world, and we are so excited to have people from everywhere. We've got people from every hemisphere, and it is so exciting to know that you're along this journey with us. And we want to add value to everything that you do, regardless of what culture you're living in. We know that the heart is the heart, and psychology doesn't change depending on where you live, just how we apply it does. And so
Hmm.
we want to be able to really reach out and give you what you need in your space for what it is that you want to achieve in your life. Any
I'm
final thoughts,
excited.
Josie? Yeah, you're excited?
I am. I'm very excited to keep going with it. So
Yep.
see your numbers come up, see more people come in.
Yep. It's going to be great. So, listeners, until next time, protect your peace, chase your growth, and remember, stay unbreakable.